Hey Legionnaires, and welcome back. We're here with a new Total War Attila fancy mod for you today. And yes, this mod is called Eldirath Total War, I guess is what it will be technically called. But yes, Eldirath, and it is set in a new fanciful world. It's been created by one of my subs, a guy called Amund. He's done a really good job with a few other subs as well in creating this this submod of his own fantasy world. It's definitely got some influences, I feel like, from some other sort of like sort of fantasies. I'd say like Lord of the Rings, and sort of, I mean, you'll see later on why I say Lord of the Rings, and also sort of like I'd say like King Arthur and various other just sort of like, you know, classical sort of like fantasies. But it's very cool, and it certainly is looking very interesting. There's a whole wide range of factions, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I think the first version is coming out very soon on the Steam Workshop, so do keep your eyes peeled. It'll be called Eldirath Total War. Definitely worth checking out once it is up. I can't leave a link for it, obviously. I've got early access, but yeah, once it's out on the Steam Workshop, definitely go and subscribe to it and go and yeah, check out his work. But yes, I'll give you guys a bit of lore, and we're also going to go over sort of all the factions as well in today's video. So yeah, we've got about, I think about 7 or 8 factions I think to go over. So yeah, we've got a fair few to get through. But yeah, I'll just say at the beginning of this video, if you want to see more Eldirath like content, then do leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite faction is as well in the comments. I'd be interested to see. But yeah, let's get on and enjoy this video. I hope you do. But anyway, yeah, a bit of lore. We have Eldirath is basically a world that was created by a guy called the Creator. He created this place for humanity. So humanity is the first race on Eldirath. Eventually, humanity's flaws are kind of noticed and realized by this god, the Creator. Yeah, he like creates both like himself. Well, he creates the gods and also humanity first. And the Creator and the gods like realize that humanity, you know, they've got some issues. They're not that great as a race. So they then create the elves, which are like put into another realm. I guess near Eldirath. I guess Eldirath is one realm, and then there must be other realms that like are on there. That wasn't kind of made clear to me, but or whether Eldirath is the entire continent, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I think it's like other realms, because Eldirath I think is like supposedly the best realm. So yes, so the elves are in another realm, but then they have the ability apparently to traverse between realms, which I guess means sort of like, I don't know, teleport or something? I don't really know how that really works, but I guess, I don't know, ability to traverse, you could walk. I don't know if the realms are like attached or what, but yes, the elves anyway have moved to Eldirath because they see its beauty and its familiarity, which the gods are unhappy about. They don't like that the elves have moved and mixed in with these dirty humans. They were like, we wanted to keep you guys apart because the elves, you guys are supposed to be perfect, and the humans are supposed to be, you know, flawed. A bit like in Lord of the Rings, really. Kind of like, as I was saying, really, like, apart from the elves come before men in Lord of the Rings. So then, anyway, after the gods are unhappy about the elves moving in with, to the same realm as the humans, the gods create the RhyMorians, which are similar to the elves, but they're cursed to drink blood, literally just like vampires, I've been told. So they're basically vampires. This causes a civil war in both heavens and the realms, as both vied for power. The turmoil caused an event called the Sundering, which is made it so all the realms are accessible to everyone all at once, and mess up the world. And then basically, like, Eldirath is supposed to be set about a millennium after the events of like the Sundering. So Eldirath and sort of like the continent as a whole has been around for quite a little while now. The date is 1376, and yeah, tensions between many of the empires and the kingdoms are sort of like rising once again. So that's sort of like the brief like sort of lore I've been given on this world. If you want more, I'm sure we can definitely get some more, because it's, you know, a cool fancy world. And a new idea, something like, you know, like your Game of Thrones, your Lord of the Rings, they do great off lore. And I love reading lore of like fantasy worlds. But anyway, we are going to be checking out the RhyMorian Empire first, because that was the first one I was sent. They're kind of like based off the elves and Valyrians from like sort of like Game of Thrones, inspired by Valyrians in a way that they're like dark elves, and like they're sort of like the dark elves from Warhammer as well, if you like kind of get that idea, like they're vampires, vampiric elves basically. Their armies are pretty much heavy infantry and crossbow, which we're going to have a look at. with humans serving as tier 1 units. So yeah, we'll have a quick look at some of these units. We're starting off here with the Valmora Death Dealers, which is a heavy shock infantry sort of unit. And yeah, it looks very, very cool. It's a tier 4 unit there. It's very, very cool. We're going to get rid of the HUD so you guys don't have anything spoiled for you. But yes, they are there. And then we have another unit here, the Blood Brides of RhyMoria. So these are like, I guess, like female vampires, like, you know, Blood Brides kind of gives away. But yeah, they look very, very cool. It's a tiny unit, by the way. 80, I should say, woman unit, not man unit. They do look very, very cool. Very in plate armor, as you can see. Lots of heavy infantry, as Eamon was saying to start with. And then we have one of the tier 3 sort of Imperial Heavy Sword Company. He also said they were kind of had links to sort of like the HRE, and I can see it with the armor here. This definitely gives like HRE sort of vibes, and also being called Imperial. So I guess maybe the RhyMorians have a bit of an empire at the time. I mean, they are the RhyMorian Empire. So yeah, they are very, very cool. And then I think we have the lowest tier unit here, Imperial Sword Company. This guy is ready for battle. Tier 2 sword unit here, which I guess is going to be your sort of like spam units there. And I think that is the final unit, yes. And then we're going to be checking out their spears. We do have Imperial Spear Company here, again, like the lowest tier spear. There for you, so it's very similar to the sword, just with a spear. Kind of the same with these guys, Imperial Spear Company as well. Did I get 2 of these? Maybe I got 2 of them in already. So yeah, we brought 2 for some reason of the Imperial Spears. Maybe you just wanted 2. Then we have conscript spears here, which are the sort of the cheapest guys. They have like a 2-handed spear, I guess. They're holding it certainly in 1-handed at the moment, but I guess when they get into animation, they're holding it with 2 spears. But it's a bit of a cheaper spear unit, and then I think we have more conscript spears there as well. I think I must have just brought 2 of them just to, you know, show off the mass that you can sort of bring. And then over on this side here, we do have Imperial Heavy Pike Company. So these are the elite pikes that you can get. So again, kind of giving HRE vibes, you know, sort of, you know, relying on pikes. It's quite a lot of Western European powers, like in 1212, do have lots of heavy pikemen. I guess the HRE is pretty well known for theirs. And yeah, these guys look awesome. They really do. Don't really give vampire looks, to be honest, if this was like vampires. But I guess they could do maybe, if they could try and change the models, make them look paler, that maybe would be a good idea. I mean, this guy kind of looks a bit pale and gaunt, but could do with making them paler. That would be kind of cool. Anyway, the Halberd Company, the Imperial Heavy Halberd Company, again, very similar to sort of like the spears and the swords looked with the sort of like padded jerkin armor and their purples and yellows. I guess that's their colours, their Imperial colours. They do look very, very cool there. I do like those halberds. They do have a lot of pikes and polearms, do the RhyMorians. These guys are clearly heavy in that sort of department. So great for a siege. But these are the Frontier Conscript Pikemen. These guys, Gorp in there. But yeah, again, looking very similar to the spears, just with a pike instead. So yeah, those Conscript spears, you know, just basically instead with a pike. And they look very cool. I do like them. And then we've got, over here, we have Imperial Heavy Crossbows. We do have these guys. These look very, very cool. I do like their helmets they've going on. Very cool. And also, I mean, the detail, you can see that they've like put in like their emblems here on their breastplates. The detail for these are really, really good. Like, it's not just there are like some assets I feel like, you know, look similar to 1212 and stuff, but it's all very reworked and it all looks really good. And I mean, especially like details like that with the breastplate, that's a good sign that, you know, like the mod is not sort of just slapdash. This is going to be a good and like, you know, its own unique mod. And I'm really excited to see how this one goes. But yeah, again, sort of very similar to HRE, strong in crossbows. These are the conscript crossbows. So it does seem like, yeah, there's like a lot of tier 1 and then like more elite tiers as well. So they're like the tier, are they tier 4? These guys are, wow. So it goes from 1 to 4 immediately. Only a couple of missile units there. That's the only missiles available for the RhyMorians. So not a strong missile faction. Then we have the Valmorian General here. I guess that's him at the front here. He looks a bit bloodied up. Looks like he's maybe having a snack before he's gone in a battle, eating some poor soul. Bitten them and taking their life force. Again, the helm there as well with the Valmorian helm. The RhyMorian helm going on. That was very, very cool. I guess Valmore maybe is like their capital. I imagine this is going to get a campaign eventually. When like it's, I imagine once Dawn of States finishes theirs and release the campaign tools for making more unique like maps, that's probably going to be how it is. But yes, and then we have Valmorian Knights here. So again, very similar sort of in looks to the Valmorian General, but they're just, I imagine they have a slightly different hit points and stuff like that, probably less than the General. And then here we do have the Imperial Scout Company, which are the other cav unit they have. Again, yeah, your lower tier sort of cav unit. Look very similar to those frontier units that we've seen. But yeah, this is just a cav variant instead. It looks very, I do like it as well. Kind of a sergeant vibe, basically, they're going for there. But yeah, that is the RhyMorian Empire. A very cool faction. And again, like you can see on their emblems here, they've got the sort of the emblem of the faction. Very, very good. And that's what I like to see. And again, on the shields, it's all over the shields as well. You can't miss it with all those dragons there. They do look very, very cool. A cool faction, that's for sure. And now we will move on to the next faction, which is, if I can remember, is going to be, I think. Well, actually, let me just see. It's going to be the Kingdom of Dragonfell, which I is going to say is one of my favorite. Absolutely. But yes, I'll see you guys in a moment. So here we are with the Kingdom of Dragonfell. Like I said, I think it's going to be one of my personal favorites. I mean, A to start with. I mean, look at those emblems. They look awesome. They really, really do. I'm a big fan of already the look of this one. It's giving me sort of Camelot vibes. If you ever watch like the series of Merlin, if you're definitely from the UK, it was a BBC series, and you know, focused on sort of like on Camelot and sort of like the adventures between Merlin and Arthur Pendragon. It's certainly like, you know, this is sort of what their like armies look like, and it's just giving me like straight vibes off the Merlin series. It really is. But yes, very much inspired by King Arthur. I've been told this this faction, and yeah, it shows when we get to some of the names later on. Your typical shock cav faction with some of the best archers as well in the game, and they do have some other pretty good units as well scattered about, but definitely when looking at it, definitely has one of the better cav rosters, which I know for the people that love Total War Attila and love cavalry, I think this is going to be one of their favorite factions as well, because yeah, cav usually in Total War Attila does win you games. But anyway, first we'll look at all the other units, and then we'll get to the creme of the creme of this faction. But yes, we do have the peasant swordsman here, which don't look too peasanty to me. I mean, they've got some pretty cool ornate shields, I mean, to be honest, some of these guys. There you go, peasant swords, a tier 1 sword unit there. That's, you know, just going to be sort of like chaff that you're not really going to use a lot of. But then these are probably going to be your main line infantry, the sword sergeants here of Dragonfell. They do look very, very cool. Again, looking very similar to sort of like what you see in 1212 with their sort of like units. This guy here has not got the color scheme. He's been white and red rather than yellow and red. But yeah, very, very cool unit there. Is the sword sergeants. Then what you have over here, these guys are a bit more, again, like your typical sort of like 1212. These are the knightly foot retinue. So these are all your knights, I guess, from the Kingdom of Dragonfell, all in their different emblems and banners of the Lords of Dragonfell. I do like this Chicken Lord here, to be honest. He's one of my favorite I've seen going on. You know, I'd like to be, you know, representing the Chicken Lord, whoever he is. And then you've had some awesome ones. I mean, I think that's from Monty Python. That's like definitely like a nod to, but I'm not entirely sure. It definitely looks like it. But yeah, very, very cool unit there. And then we have the shock infantry, which is also thrown in with the swords here. The Court Knight, tier 3 heavy human, I'd like to say heavy human shock infantry. So yes, they are, I guess I like that they are putting in sort of like what race they are as well. It helps with sort of remembering who's who. But yeah, they look very, very cool as well. Again, looking like something that you see maybe out of 1212. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be pretty simple and easy to, that's an easy comparison to make. It is going to be the case. Because a lot of these units do kind of look like sort of, you know, medieval sort of units. But yeah, very, very cool faction. And yeah, we will quickly have a look at the spears next. So over here, I guess are going to probably have another spear peasant unit over here. Yep, again, like I thought, just your chaff. You're probably having like a garrison army or something like that. You might use these guys if you've got some spare coin left over to maybe support a cavalry charge or something like that. That's what a tactic I love to use is cheap spears, supporting cav. And they definitely could do that job, that's for sure. Again, we're going to have a spear sergeants here, I can imagine. Yeah, like I said, usually with these factions, you usually have a sword variant or something, then you have a spear variant of it. Again, this is the spear variant of the sword sergeants that they have going on. And then what do we have next? We do have a very, very cool, very heavily armored looking spear unit here. My gosh, look at all these like banners coming off them. These guys, you know, they are dripped out. I'll give them that. What is their name? They are the Dragon Banner Spearmen. And yeah, I mean, fair enough. They do have a lot of dragon banners going on. They do look very, very cool. Very elite. Very, very good looking unit there, that's for sure. Kind of giving me, I don't know why, like some of the like Lannister vibes a little bit, these units here. Sort of like with the shield, the kite shield, and like, again, it's the gold and the red combination. Just needs to be a line, and these guys could easily pull off being a Lannister sort of unit as well. But very, very cool unit there, the spears. And I think that's all there is for, yeah, for spears. They're technically known as defensive spears as well. I realise. I don't know if there's going to be some factions with defensive spearmen. But yeah, they're just known as defensive spearmen. Then we have peasant bowmen as your first bow unit. Again, it's pretty, typical of sort of these factions. So yeah, peasant bowmen. Then I imagine these are going to be sergeant bowmen? No, yeoman archers. There we go. Not quite the same. I didn't quite get that one right. But there you go. Again, you're more sort of like elite units that you maybe would see like in your armies. The peasants, they're just the guys defending the settlements. These guys are the ones you're sending out on campaign, the yeoman archers. And then next we do have, these might be the archer sergeants, royal archers. Okay, fair enough. They are pretty royal looking. And quite a few of them have the royal banner there of Dragonfell on them. So yeah, they look very, very nice as well. And then there's one more unit, because this is the best. They have some of the best bowmen in the game. And these guys, yeah, they've got steel armor going on. These guys look very cool. Grail marksmen. So yeah, again, sort of like a reference, I guess, to maybe sort of, I don't know, like Monty Python, I guess, maybe a little bit, I guess, with like the Holy Grail, or maybe just again, they were thinking, what's like a fanciful sort of thing that there is in that, like that you have in high fantasy. Holy Grail. And yeah, fair enough. And look at like on the armor, you can see the Holy Grails there. It looks awesome. Really, really cool. I mean, again, small details like this, guys. You can see this mod's had a lot of love put into it. It's not just a slapdash done thing. It is having a lot of love put into it. And that's why, Eldirath, you need to check it out. It does look like it's going to be really, really good. And definitely an up-and-coming mod for the Total War. Attila, and then I think this is the first cab unit. Yeah, already a tier 3 cab unit. The Knights of the Round. I mean, all they might as well just put is Round Table, and it would have been fine. We all know what it is, really. The Knights of the Round. I mean, the Round is quite interesting. I mean, I maybe would have changed it to something else, because the Knight of the Round makes it like they're just Knights of Round people, maybe, or something like that. But yeah, very, not quite like, I don't know, royal, because they're just in sort of like bland, blank colours, but they have the royal banner like on their shield. But yeah, these guys are, your cheapest heavy cab available, apparently. Actually, no, I don't think they are. I think these are all in different wrong orders, that's why. Because now we have a tier 2 here, which actually looks, if anything, I think cooler. They kind of remind me more of those like Fuel Knights we've seen already with their mishmash like emblems going on. Again, there is the Chicken Lord. Good to see him there. But yeah, these are your tier 2, more like... they are technically knights still, but they look more like sergeants a little bit with their armor. And then we have, the more elite ones. I don't know why they all got mixed up like that, but they did. I think maybe... Oh, it's because it's a melee cab, that one. It's not... it's a melee cab, Knights of the Round. I do apologize. So yeah, that's the cheapest shock cab you have. This is a tier 3 melee cab. It's the Knights of the Round. I don't know if they should really have a spear then if they're a melee cab. Probably should be just have a sword straight off the bat. Just so it's easier to differentiate, I think, on the battlefield. But that's a small thing. I don't know if a melee cab can really have like a big lance like that. Pendragon Lancers look very, very cool. These are, your Pendragon men. I love their helms. I mean, these are, these guys looking very, very sexy. I mean, look at that like helm, especially you can see the dragon on it, the crown there. The wings coming off it. Yeah. If you didn't need anything else that told you this was definitely a Pendragon Camelot inspired faction, these guys show it off. And I imagine if these guys are technically more elite, they are Silver Lake Knights. Yeah, again, I feel like there's a lake in Lake Avalon in Camelot, or like in sort of like in that world. And I think you can see it there on the shield, Lady of the Lake with the the arm and the shield. That looks amazing. It really does. So yeah, it's definitely based off Lake Avalon, which is very, very cool again. And it's on the side of the what, I don't know what you really call this, on the coats of the horses. There's a name for this, but I can't remember what it is. But again, a very cool looking unit, it really is. And then the final unit is actually a unique general name. It's Duke Lionel of Alcastar. So I don't know whether they're going to get sort of unique people for each faction, but I guess we will. I don't know who the Duke is. Maybe the guy in green. I'm not really sure. Surely we are looking like a very ornate guy, but I can't really see anyone that looks really unique. But they look very, very cool as well. And there you go. That is the Kingdom of Dragonfell, which I am, like I said, I think it's going to be my favorite by quite a way. I'm, a big, big fan. And yeah, we will move on to the next faction, which is going to be the DurHangar Holds, which certainly sound very interesting. So here we are with the DurHangar Holds. I do apologize if I'm butchering any of these names. They are not easy things to read, but I think that's how you say it, the DurHangar Holds. It's a Viking / sort of Greyjoy inspired dwarvish faction. So that is a weird mix to start with. But yeah, Viking, Greyjoy, so like Reaver dwarves, basically like Viking dwarves. That sounds kind of fun, you know. Very good heavy infantry and shock troops, but lack good spears and cavalry. Is sort of like the brief of this faction. Their spears, pikes, and cavalry are all slaves as well, which is interesting to know. So these guys won't necessarily fight very hard, those units. That's some pretty key areas like cav and pikes, you know, not fighting on very hard. But anyway, have a quick look at some of these units. We have the Thrala Fjord Defenders, and definitely butcher that name. But this is a offensive spear unit, as we were talking about earlier. Some of these are, you know, defensive and some of these are offensive. So I guess they have better maybe attack stats necessarily. But yeah, they look very Viking-like and very poor. And you can see why they are a spear unit. These are Thrala, which is basically thralls, like slave pike wardens. They're actually tier 2, so they are a little bit better. So, you know, they might hold on a little longer in a fight, but they do look very like sort of like Macedonian, sort of like with it, like how they're holding their shield strapped to their arm, so they can have both hands on the spear, which is very cool. I do like that sort of style of pikemen, and they're a very cool one. But that is all the spears and the pikes. That is pretty much all there is to them. Now we move on to their swords, which are the shield wall protectors. We have some dwarvish raiders here. Look at these guys. I mean, the emblems again. Look at them. They look awesome. They really do. But yeah, great standard there. And yeah, big fan of them. That unit already. And this looks a very cool unit as well. Look at these guys. These are the Flamebeards chosen. There's only 2 sword units for this faction. The DurHangar. And yeah, they look very cool as well. Got a very sort of like Viking sort of helm look to them there. That's like definitely something so you see it like... I'm trying to remember what the name of the... there's like a very famous Saxon helmet, which it looks very similar to that, to be honest, a little bit. But yeah, they look very cool. In golden armor as well. Oh my. These guys are expensive to kit out, but yeah, they look great. Then we have shock infantry here with the ironclad sentinels. With a cool double-handed axe. These guys are so your tier 3 shock infantry, you sort of mid-tier. They are technically higher up, but yeah, for sort of mid-tier shock infantry. Then we have the very elite ones here, the Hammer-Forged Titans. Sounds like a great name. It does. And look at their hammers as well. I mean, got sort of like Viking runes on them there, and they've got sort of a very looking like medieval, sort of like high medieval sort of helm going on. But they do look very cool. That is for sure. The Hammer-Forged Titans. Then we're moving on to their axe infantry here, which is, you know, like very Viking sort of style, having a lot of axes. We have the Hillside Guardians, just a very low tier axe unit there. They look very cool. Seemingly like dwarves in this as well. I don't know how they've like come to be created, but apparently they have as well. It'd be interesting to get some lore on how like the dwarves and the and some of these other races come about. But yeah, they are very cool. Those units there. Then we have the Rune Axe Warriors, sort of a more mid-tier. What you probably have the basis of your armies made up of. These are your tier 2 sort of stuff. A bit is like the sergeants, you know, you might be spamming out quite a few of these guys. Then we have, I imagine, tier 3 here. Oh no, more tier 2. Some Longboat Marauders. So yeah, these guys a little bit, I don't know if they're any better, really. They might have different assets to what the other tier 2s have. But they do look very cool as well. And then over here we do have tier 3s. We have Ironclad Sentinels. So yeah, these might be probably what you try to aim to bring most of your army out of. If you have a higher tier, like higher point game, you might bring a lot more of these. But they do look very cool. Yeah, in more sort of, you know, uniformed armor. We've got all this sort of like the scale armor going on there. They do look very nice. And I think there is maybe, oh no, that is it. That is all of the tiers. So yeah, your swords are your more higher tier stuff. But axes wise, there's more availability and more choice. It seems. And then we have archers here. There's not a lot of archers for them, but a Stonehold Bowman. So yeah, these are just some pretty cheap archers you can bring. And then I think the other unit is a crossbow unit. Yeah, we have the bolt casters here, which are the tier 3 like dwarven crossbows. Again, got some like scale armor going on, which you've seen a lot of their tier 3 units have. And yeah, they are decent. And then the final, so we have a human unit here. So the final unit before the general. Is a Thralier mounted warband. So these are medium human cav that we have here. So yeah, these are just like, you know, guys that have been imprisoned and I guess like, you know, reaved and from human villages is I guess what the dwarves would do. Imagine being like a human though and you've been imprisoned by a dwarf. Like you could just, you're taller than him. Just escape. I feel like you probably could, but there you go, we've got some cav there. Then we have the unique general, which is this guy here, I think. Maybe this guy? I'm not really sure who it's supposed to be, but it's King Horgrim or Flamebeard, I guess is how you say his name. I probably butchered that name. But I don't know who it's supposed to be. I feel like Flamebeard maybe should be someone, you know, pretty, I don't know, it could be him, I guess. He's got a pretty flame beard. But I feel like, you know, we need to see a bit more of a unique model for him, which I think is one critique I could have of the mod so far. I haven't been able to tell who's the unique sort of guy for the general. Like in Dawn of Days, you can sort of see them, and also in 1212 as well, you can easily see who like sort of the general is quite easily. So yeah, we could do just maybe some more identifiable generals, I think, if I was to critique so far. But that is it. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next faction, which is these CorGar Tribes. So here we are with our, I think it's our first orc faction, and it's looking like a very, very cool faction, that's for sure. And they definitely, you know, the CorGar Tribes are definitely a very interesting faction. Quite a bit of information about them I've got. They're basically wild orcs, these guys. You know, they don't really have a kingdom as such. They are used a lot as mercenaries that are considered dumb and feral. So yeah, they just kind of like, you know, roam in the open lands and the open fields and just become a pest. Depending on the tribe, they'll be used, yeah, as mercenaries. So I guess there's various different tribes. Some have, I guess, are happy to fight for gold. Maybe some others aren't. Army-wise, they're all able to guerrilla deploy, I think, or quite a lot of them are able to guerrilla deploy. They're very much an offensive faction and micro-intensive if you are going to use these guys, and aren't particularly good at anything other than stealth and ambushes. So, yeah, this could be an interesting and hard faction to use, especially if like you played a campaign or something with them, or even just a multiplayer battle. But yeah, we'll have a quick look at their armies. They only have one spear unit, so I've thrown it in with the rest of the sword infantry. The CorGar Spear Raider here. It's a tier 2 offensive spear unit, as I've already said. A lot of these units I think are going to be offensively minded. So yeah, look fairly good, you know. And I like how the orc units, they look different, a little bit different. I feel like to like Dawn Stays orcs, which I'm glad they haven't just sort of used the same models. They do look a little bit different, to be honest. So I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, they look, you know, okay. These guys got a bit of chainmail going on. They can help defend themselves. They're definitely better kitted out than these guys. The CorGar Feral Warriors, they're called. They are just, yeah, just given a bit of a cloak and a shield. These guys, I think, are just going to be a chaff. Looks like they've got an axe as their unit. They could be, I guess, an axe infantry rather than a sword unit. Then we have, it looks like pretty much the sword variant of, yeah, the spears, the CorGar Raiders. So, yeah, pretty much just exactly the same, just with a sword there. For those spear raiders. And then we have a slightly more elite, you know, these guys have a Javi as well to throw off at least maybe a couple of Javis. So these are CorGar Trapper Warriors. So yeah, these guys are tier 3. They have missile capability before they go into melee, which I do like, and I'm glad that not everyone has as well. That's a big thing I do not like. But yeah, a very, very cool unit there. And then we have, looks like the most elite unit here. Let's see if we can find a cool looking guy. This guy looks pretty damn cool. He is a CorGar Steel Band Warrior. Look at them. These guys do look very nice. Got some sort of like, these definitely look like sort of like Byzantine sort of style, like cataphract helmets, but they do look very, very cool. And their banner also looks pretty good as well. You know, gives a lot away. They are just, you know, a horn skull there. Yeah, it doesn't give much away. And yeah, I mean, look at that sword as well. That's pretty damn scary. I think that is all of the swords. We'll have a quick look at the shock infantry here. So we have Wolfgar, Grafer Axeguard. So yeah, that sounds very, very cool. A light shock infantry unit, but it's tier 3. Again, not a lot going on for protection. They're just given some wolfskin and a big axe and told to go into battle. And then over here we do have a tier 4. I know it's another tier 3, sorry. It looked like it's going to be slightly higher tier. Maybe probably should be. I think just to like maybe represent a difference maybe. But they are heavy, I guess. Maybe it's why they're probably a bit more expensive because you get some you're paying for the armor. But these are Iron Storm Cleavers, heavy tier 3 shock infantry. Look very cool. Again, sort of giving me a sort of Byzantine Varangian look with that sort of like mail over the mouth there. It's very Varangian. Then we have CorGar Wildwood Stalkers here. So yeah, it kind of gives me like Mirkwood Archers like vibes as well with them. But there's just a light bow unit that they have available. Again, shows us sort of like very much ambush type units. And then we have Feral Slingers here. Again, a very sort of ambush sort of type unit and weapon you'd use. So again, yeah, they look very low tier. And yeah, very cheap, I'd imagine to bring. I imagine you could probably spam out a lot of these guys compared to other factions if it was like sort of a high price battle. Then we have CorGar Ironstorm Cavalry. So yeah, we actually have some orcs on horses, which looks a bit odd to be honest. But yeah, kind of a fan of it. And then we have some wolves here. So again, very Lord of the Rings, Wolfgar, Moonhunt Riders. So we do have, yeah, very influenced Warg Rider, sort of like Lord of the Rings unit there. And then we have another general here, I think. We have just a mounted warlord. So I imagine he's a little bit stronger than his cav instead. But there you go. That is the CorGar Tribes. So they are the orcs. They do look very interesting. We're going to move on to the Corang Confederacy, which is, yeah, an interesting faction as well. There's a whole load of names here, guys, so I don't expect you to remember them all. But yeah, they are this is certainly a very interesting mod so far. So we are here with the Corang Confederacy. So the Corgars were bred by humans, and like the last faction we just checked out, the Corgars were bred by humans as a bit of lore for them, and these Corang orcs, I guess they are now known as, were led by their god, their orcish god, and led to the desert. So these are pretty much desert orcs, which I kind of like as an idea. You don't see that in any other sort of like fantasy that I can think of off the top of my head. Basically, smarter orcs are desert tribes. Their armies are good at horse archers, melee cav, and decent infantry, but lack other variety of heavy infantry compared to other factions, is what I've been told. And yeah, it definitely does seem like that is the case when I was looking at these units earlier. But yes, this is the only spear unit against. It's a desert spear unit here. It looks very sort of low tier. Again, very equipped to survive in the desert. We've got Civic Wardens that we move on to, though, which is... actually, this is another spear unit. I do apologise. So we do have more spears here. These are the Civic Wardens. So we immediately move on to a very much more elite sort of looking spear unit. Very, very cool. And I love the oval shields and the armor they got going on, and it looks very sort of like what you'd see in sort of like basic Attila, sort of like some of these desert factions. I love that. Again, look at that sword going on. I don't know how you'd really wield that, but he is obviously going to give it a go. But there you go. That's the Civic Wardens, and then we got here. We got the Corang Warriors, the first, the swords, looking very, very cool. These orcs look very pale. Certainly look very odd, but they do look very cool. Very sort of like, you know, they've sort of adapted to the desert, I guess. Maybe that's why they look different to their other kin. And over here we have, they have a very much like a Germanic looking type shield there to these guys. I guess these are the blood guards of Sangorok. That's not what I thought they were going to be. They're a tier 4 unit. I thought they were going to be like the sword variant of the Civic Wardens, but they're not. Yeah, these guys, the blood guards of Sangorok, very, very cool. Again, like the sort of style of helm going on. That's very, very nice. I don't really have a lot to analyze with these guys. I'm just like sort of looking at them and thinking what I think about these guys. We've then got the Nak Hors, which is sort of like a ninja type unit, I guess, because they're sort of like crouched down now. They have double blades. They have missile capability as well. So yeah, they can maybe like throw like maybe they'll throw a throwing star. Maybe they'll throw like a smaller knife. I imagine is going to be what they're actually going to throw. But yeah, they look very, very cool. And something very different to what you see in Total War nowadays. You don't see like ninja type units unless you're playing Shogun. Then we have Corang Berserkers. So yeah, this is the only shock infantry unit available. So I thought I'd throw it in with the swords. They do look very, very cool. You can see their veiny arms there. Again, very sort of like a Falx type unit, a bit like a Dacian would have. Well, sort of in a way. But it's just like that big curved sword again. It looks a little bit like a Falx. But yeah, there you go. They are all the melee sort of units, including spears and shock included in that. Then we have Corang archers here, so a pretty low tier archer again. But again, looks very equipped for the desert. You know, look very, very cool. And then we have a Javi unit as well. So these are the desert javelineers. So again, I mean, you can look at them. Yeah, they look very. So you can see their pointy ears. These do look very orcish in a way. I'd like maybe some more details, like I don't know, like earrings or something like on the ears. I think that would make them look a little bit more sort of orc-like, maybe, because you often see that, but they do look very cool. I do like these, like the model designs. You can, like I said, a lot of love's been put into this. And then what do we have next? We have the Corang Camel Warriors. So yeah, these guys, yeah, a melee cav unit by looks of it, on camels. I wonder if the camels will have sort of like the scare ability that often a lot of cav do, like camels do in these Total Wars. Sunlord Nobles, it looks awesome. I do like that. It gives me sort of House Martell looks a little bit. They really do. So yeah, orcs for House Martell is a weird vibe I've never thought I'd ever think of. Then we have a horse archer unit here, the first of the two. We have the Corang Oasis Riders. Looks like they're going to be like a Lancer come bow cav hybrid a little bit. And then we have the next bow unit, which is the Colrax Chosen. So this is a tier 4 elite bow cav unit. Again, has that sort of elite sort of helmet that's going on as a sort of standard for this Korsanga faction. Then we have the general here, which is the Sun Lord Zarak. I don't know who he is. I guess maybe he's supposed to be this guy, but I'm not really sure. It'd be nice, like I said, if we could have like some identifiable model for these units. But there you go. That's the Corang Confederacy, a desert orc faction. Looks like it's going to be very fun. Next, we're going to move on to the Republic of Blackmore, another human faction. So we are here with another human faction for you today, and yeah, I'm kind of a big fan of this one. The Republic of Blackmore, yeah, human nation inspired by the Italian states and The Witcher a little bit, which I kind of can see. I also can kind of see a little bit of, I don't know why, I think it's the color scheme of the blue and the red. It does give me sort of like vibes of, I forget what they're called now, Britannia or something in Warhammer. I'm off with the names. I think it's Britannian, isn't it? It's something like that, or maybe I'm thinking of something else entirely. Bretonnian, that's what I'm thinking of. Bretonnian, not Britannia. But yes, they're in Bannerlords. I've been playing far too much. Bannerlord. But yeah, we have City Watch here, human defensive spear unit, just a cheap unit that you can have defending your garrisons, I imagine. Phoenix Spear Guards, which kind of give me, again, sort of like Sergeant Spear vibes going on. So yeah, they do look very cool as well. There are a lot of spear units in this one, and a lot of sword and melee units generally. There's definitely very much a infantry heavy faction. I don't know whether they're going to get other stuff added. I don't know if these rosters are entirely complete, but this one definitely, yeah, they seem to be lacking a few key areas, do these guys, especially if they're supposed to be a faction inspired by sort of like Italian states. But I guess it's mainly because they have good Pavis crossbows, these guys. And they're very religious, apparently. They're apparently a very religious fanatic faction of the Blackmore Republic. But yeah, they have good Pavis crossbows and some good heavy infantry. Again, these guys look like Pavis spears. That's for sure. They're Brotherhood of Saint Ignatius. Yeah, again, shows off that religious sort of side. I'll do like the emblems there. I guess that's maybe the emblem of Saint Ignatius, whoever he is. We have the Pavessia Guards. Again, like I said, very Italian heavy sort of state faction. The armor looks incredible on these units. Again, they have the emblem on their chest plate. You know, these guys they don't mess around. These modders, they're putting a lot of hard work into making sure these units do look very unique. Then we have the pikes here, or sorry, polearms. The Griffin's watch retinue. So yeah, actually, it's not the Griffin on their emblem, isn't it? There, so it's yeah, they look awesome. Again, very sort of like look very like 1212, but just like a medieval knight would sort of like look. They do look very, very cool. I do like their look. I think that's all we have in this row. We're moving on to the next row. And we've got the swords. And then also we have a different type of unit as well. This sword unit is St. Stellenstein's Corsairs. So they're a bit like Pelargir Marines in a way. Look at these shields as well. I don't know what the what it says on there. It says, by flame and wave we shall stand vigilant. Look at that detail. It looks awesome. That's really, really good. And it says it on the other ones as well. But yeah, these shields and everything, they put a lot of work in. But yeah, St. Stellenstein's Corsairs, a Javi sword unit. It's the only sword unit they have. They have actually got Mace Infantry as their main faction. I hope these guys aren't going to suck like in like Dawn of Days. Mace Infantry sucks in Dawn of Days. Umbars quite a few, and they suck. But yeah, this is the tier 1. These guys might, but they're Blackmore Merchant Militia. They might suck a little bit. We'll see. Phoenix Mace Guards is sort of like your tier 2, maybe more like your Sergeant sort of type Maceman that you're going to have, a bit more professional. Again, look very, very cool. They have the tier 3, I think. Yeah, Iron Guard of Blackmore. These guys look really nice as well. Again, very sort of, I don't know, Italian style, very all in, like Italian states by 1212, like in tier 3, are all just like in plate steel armor, and these guys look very much like it. And again, they have that, I think, steel and fire defends. I don't know what that last bit says. Steel and fire depends. I don't know. It's one it's defends or depends. But again, it's the detail on here they have is just great on these units. They really are very, very cool. And then we have the Republican Guard. Again, a lot of these Italian states republics, and yeah, they're kind of really hitting into that sort of like that connection between this faction, the Blackmore and Italian states. That sort of link there. An influence that they're going for. Again, in like black steel armor, these guys are beautiful. These guys, again, a Mace Infantry unit. These are all Mace units. Look very cool. And then we have another Mace unit, really, but it's a shock Mace unit, I guess. The Flame Bearers, again, sort of like giving that sort of religious fanatic influence going on. These guys look awesome as well. Kind of giving me vibes from like 1212, like the peasant sort of like militia like Bohemia can get. But yeah, they do look awesome as well. And then we have over here, we do have those Padvi crossbows. I don't know if they're going to have any more, but these are mercenary Blackmore sharpshooters. So they're like Padvi's crossbow. I don't know if they're going to get like a lower tier one. I feel like if they're supposed to be like influenced by Italian states, I maybe would add another like cheaper Padvi's crossbow maybe, because these are tier 3, maybe add a tier 1, I don't know. Or maybe they feel like they're balanced out as they are. But then we have the Pyro-class Grenadiers. Yeah, they have Grenadiers available to Blackmore, which is awesome. I do like that. Yeah, they are really, really cool. And yeah, it's the first Grenadier unit we've seen. I don't know why these guys have them. Maybe they're really into alchemy, I guess. I feel like that kind of clashes with religion. But hey, there you go. Or maybe they're just, I don't know. Yeah, I've got no idea why those are together. Alchemy and religion maybe shouldn't mix. And then we have some pilgrims here. We have witch hunter riders. Yeah, again, yeah, I guess going with the witches. I guess there's a witch's hat. It kind of reminds me of a pilgrim. We've got a tiny little shield here, but this is the only cav they have. It's a melee cav. But yeah, it does not look like it's going to be very strong. Light human melee cav. Then we have a general here with Grand Chancellor Retinue. So I guess maybe this is like the Grand Chancellor here. I don't know. One of these probably is. But yeah, very cool unit. A mace cav unit as well. It looks like it's going to be melee. That's for sure. But there you go. That is the Republic of Blackmore. Another one of my favorites, I've got to say, so far as those guys. We're going to move on to the next faction, which is the Iron Men. I'll see you guys in a moment. So this is the Iron Men. They're an undead faction. Yeah, undead people in the cold north of Eldirath. They are led by the Valkyrie Queen Kalma. So they are a product of the Sundering and the dwarves raiding the northern lands. The army basically is zombies that move slowly with less melee attack and damage, but a high morale. So basically, I think that because they're undead, they don't rout basically. They are the anvil of the armies. Then you have skeletons which move really fast. The anvil of the armies is the zombies, and the skeletons move really fast and are meant to be the hammer. They are really good javelin throwers and essentially for the an essential for the undead armies. If you're going to bring these guys, you have to bring the Javies, apparently. How good they are, I guess we'll find out in future replays. But yeah, let's check out this roster. So we do have a few interesting units as well, along with Javies and zombies. We have Chillguard Spearmen, just so there are some of those zombies, I guess. We have Chillguard Long Spears here, which are, these are all offensive spears. I like how they have the skeleton sort of officer there. Very, very cool. Indeed. So they're, I guess, I don't really know if like a long spear and a spear really have much difference, but maybe they do. Wraithguard Spear Wardens, so these guys are a little bit more elite. So yeah, I think these are tier 3. Yeah, tier 3 heavy zombie spears. So they do have the chainmail going on. And yeah, I guess maybe we'll rout a little less. I'd be interested to see if any of them do rout at all. Let's actually have a look at their stats. Do they rout? Morale 328. Yeah, I don't think they rout. I think they're going to hold to the last man. Fight to the last man. But yeah, they are all of the, these are the Wraithguard Spear Wardens there. All of the spear units there. They're pretty cool. It kind of, again, it gives me sort of like, the undead armies of Game of Thrones. It gives me vibes from like, yeah, sort of like the Night King and his armies of undead. But I do like that they are like, taking ideas from other fantasy worlds and adding it to their own. We have the Chillguard Axe Wardens. This is a tier 2 Axe infantry unit. Again, I imagine these guys have pretty good morale. Yeah, 328. I don't think these guys at all will break. But they're going to be pretty rubbish, I imagine, in getting kills. You probably get a lot of kills fighting these guys. I mean, within a Wraithguard Marauders, it's another heavy axe unit. So this is a tier 3. What do we have after that? We have Red Wardens of Kalma. So that's like, yeah, Kalma is the queen of the undead. And yeah, I guess, I don't know how the dwarves, I guess maybe the Sundering, yeah, I don't really know how the dwarves like make their undead, but maybe it's like some magic, because like in all the like the carnage going on in the Sundering, these guys just kind of appear. But yeah, these are the most elite axe infantry you have. And then we have a shock unit here for these guys. We have the Frosthill Chargers. So I guess these are skeletons as well. I think these most of these yeah, the like early tier units, like the tier 2 and tier 3, are like zombies. Then like the tier 4s and like the skeletons, the guys you have to bring because they're really speedy. But yeah, we'll have a look how quick they actually are. Speed, yeah, 42. I don't know if that's really fast, but maybe it is. Yeah, they have a 328 morale as well. And yeah, even like I just realized, like at the bottom here, they have the emblems going on, which is really cool. They have gone into a lot of effort here, these guys. Then we have archers with the Frostwind Hunters. So yeah, a very like, skeleton archer unit. There looks like again more skeletons. I haven't seen like a lot of zombies. I feel like there's a lot more. Um, these are Frostwind bowmen. I think these are also skeletons by the looks of it. So yeah, a lot more skeletons I think than there are zombies to be honest. Frostwind javelinmen. I guess also like having lots of skeletons is kind of like going back to vampires as well, like the vampire counts, and there's some other undead factions in Warhammer. But yeah, these are some of these jabbies that apparently you need to bring. Frostwind Javelinmen. There's another one here as well, Frostguard Skewers. So a little bit more elite, a bit more armor going to them. Not that it really matters if you have armor or not. These guys are, have unlimited morale. They'll fight to the last man. You can shoot them down to the last man, pretty much. Then we have Frostborn Dread Riders, a shock cab unit here, skeleton shock cab. They look very cool. I'd like to see some undead horses if that's possible, some skeleton horses. That would be pretty cool. I mean, they do look pretty mangled, these horses. They're rotting, so that is, a good enough aesthetic for now. But maybe some skeleton horses would be cool as well to see. Then we have chariots here. We have Frost Iron War chariots. So yeah, they do look, again, very, very cool. I'd be interested to see how good these guys are. Do they have unlimited morale? They do. Indeed, yeah, 328, and their health is pretty strong as well. So yeah, that's going to be a fun unit to see, and there's 20 of them as well. So that's insane. That'll be a very good unit. And then we have Queen Kalma of the Iron Men, and that is Queen Kalma there. So we do have a unique model for Queen Kalma, which I do like. But we don't necessarily for other factions. But this is something that we need to see a bit more of. It's just more unique generals, unless I've been missing them. But yeah, Queen Kalma, very identifiable. But that's the Iron Men. A very cool faction, very straightforward. Really like their faction. We've got 2 more to check out. 2 more factions. So yeah, do stay strong, guys, if you've been watching. I hope you have been enjoying checking out these factions. And the next, the penultimate faction, is going to be the Kingdom of Elendriel. So here we are with the new faction, I say the new faction, the penultimate faction, the Kingdom of Elendriel, I think is how you say it. I'm definitely, like I said, probably butchering some of these names. I do apologize. But basically, elves with Greek Roman influences, basically Byzantine elves, which is a very cool combo. They also allow half-elves to apply to be citizens of the Empire by serving in their armies, very much like the Romans did, like with their auxiliaries. And then half-elves make up Tier 1 and Tier 2 units, while Tier 3 and 4 are full-blooded elves, so something to keep in mind. Armies inspired by Roman and Byzantine styles with solid heavy infantry, decent archers and decent cavalry, but overall very expensive armies to field. So I imagine these are going to be small but elite armies, very much like the elves are in most sort of like fantasies, to be honest, like Warhammer and Lord of the Rings. But yes, we have some of those half elves spoken of here. I'm not going to. There's basically spear sentinels. It looks like they're in an elvish sort of tongue to start with, but then they are in English after. So yeah, like half elven defensive spears. It looks like they can stay hidden for quite a long time because they're hidden. These looks like pretty much Scooter Toy spearmen, but they are the Star Spear cohort, a Tier 2 unit. They're half elven, so these are a bit more elite, a bit more well trained, these guys. But yeah, very much like a Byzantine army these guys look like. And then what do we have here? We have the heavy elven spears. These are spear bearers. Look very similar, to be honest. Not much to define these two between Tier 2 and Tier 3, but maybe that's kind of like what they're going for in their society. You know, half elves and elves can work together, but that's all the spear units there. I'd say maybe change this unit, make it look a little bit different, but maybe that's what they're going for. It's just to try and make these guys look very similar. Like in society, they didn't really care. Maybe, I don't know. Then we've got the Sword Warrior Sentinels here, a half-elven sword unit, very similar to the spear variant. Seems like it can stay hidden for a long time. Got Scooter Toy swords pretty much, but yeah, Sword Warrior cohort, again, half-elven guys here. So yeah, they look very, very cool. I guess maybe the elves and the half-elves have probably got different stats, probably different melee stats. Because yeah, like the swordsman here, or should they, probably shouldn't say swordsmen if they're elves. Probably should say something else, like elven swords. They are very, very cool. I mean, yeah, very much Byzantine style. Look at the armor there and the emblems. Very Byzantine. They've got their horse, their unicorn there, I should say, as their banner. And then over here we do have what's left, the Royal Vanguard. It's a heavy elven unit there. And yeah, they do look like sort of like Vada Totoy or something like that. They do look insane. There is a very cool unit as well in this faction I'm really wanting to show off to you guys. But first we're going to check out all the shock infantry. There's 2 of them. We have Masters of the Greatsword, an elven unit here. They do look very cool. I do like that the elves have a 2-handed sword unit. I feel like, you know, in most fantasies they do often, you know, have a lot of 2-handed sword units. And then we have over here, we do have the Guardians of the Bloodline, another two-handed sword unit, a bit more elite ones, it's a bit more like Angle of Ranjoy, they'd look a little bit. But yeah, a very cool unit as well. I'm a big fan of those. Then we have another ambush type unit here, which you can barely see, but the Bow Sentinels. They are, I guess, okay. It's kind of hard to see them, which is a bit annoying, but they get all hooded and stuff like that. And then we've got some more, like Star Archer cohorts, yeah, like your more typical sort of like half-elven, armies. You're probably going to see a lot of these, I imagine. Yeah, the half-elven bow infantry. Probably going to see a lot of these guys in these battles, because they're probably the cheapest you can bring if you want to bring mass. Silver-shelled rangers. So yeah, the elves have, of course, a range unit, again, because they hid them for a long time. They're an elven unit, tier 3. And then the last unit is this one, which is a battle sorceress. There's 5 of them. And yeah, I'll be interested to have a look at these guys. I actually will like just click on them. They don't actually have any abilities, but I feel like these guys should have some, or these ladies should have some abilities, because they are sorcerers pretty much. If you're going to add magic, I think the only way to add magic in like a Total War is to give them loads of abilities. They have got a fair amount of ammo, and they are technically a Nafatune unit. So it looks like they're going to just, fire ammunition maybe out of those staffs they have there. But a very cool unit. I do like that they're trying to add like stuff from Warhammer into Attila. And then we have Swift Horse Guards over here. So we have I think it's a half-elves as well. Yeah, it's a half-elven cav. Then we have here Elven Heavy Shock cav. These are the Silvermane Knights. Again, look very, very cool. I guess maybe they're half-elves. They would probably look quite elvish. But a lot of these guys seem to all be very blonde and long-haired. In the sense, it's kind of hard to tell who is half-elf and who is not. But like I said, maybe that's what their society's trying to go for, so they don't have sort of like a split. And then we have the Silvermane Knight as a gen as well. So yeah, they could do with probably having a unique general as well. But yeah, heavy elven command. And that is all of the kingdom of Eldariel, I think is probably butchered that name. Elendriel, sorry, Elendriel. I'm forgetting the names. There's so many new names, but there you go. Then we've got one more faction, the Principality of Marnia, to check out, which is another vampire faction, I think, if I'm correct. So the Principality of Marnia probably, gets the medal for the coolest looking banner, I think. Well, it's definitely one of the coolest ones. Look at the 3 crows with a crown on, and they've got a skull in the middle. These guys apparently are basically RhyMorians. So if you can remember all the way back to the very first faction we checked out, the RhyMorians were another vampire faction. But yeah, I mean, look at all the details on these. I just can't get over all the crows on these. They look awesome. But yeah, they're RhyMorians, but they're more evil. These guys are more Mordanians. These are, I think, supposed to be like the big bad villains of this world. And yeah, they drink blood of their kin and have zero tolerance for other races. Their faction takes inspiration from House Blackfire from Game of Thrones, or the Song of Ice and Fire, I should say. Their armies consist of heavy infantry, poor archers, making them very expensive to field. So yeah, it's going to be probably small but very elite armies, which is interesting. But yeah, I really do like the look of this faction already. I've not really looked at it, but the color scheme looks great. And also the emblem as well. But yeah, this is a Mordanian village militia spearman. But they still look really good. They look pretty well armored, to be honest, for a militia spear unit. But there you go, that's their militia spears. We have Mordanian spear sergeants. I think a lot of these are probably going to be quite similar to the RhyMorians, but we'll check them out anyway. But yeah, these are the spear sergeants. These are all defensive spears. We're back to defensive spears instead of offensive ones. And then over here we have another pike unit here. We have the champions of Ravenspire. So yeah, no sort of guesses on where their capital is. Probably it's going to be Ravenspire, hence why they have ravens everywhere. But these are a pike unit again, sort of like phalangite sort of style with the shield strapped to the side, so they can have a two-handed pike there. Very, very cool. Do like them. Then we have over here we do have the Mordanian militia axemen. Definitely look lesser armored, I think, than their spear variant, just a little bit maybe, but very cool still nonetheless. Then over here we do have the champions of Ravenspire axes, so a very elite axe unit here. I think these militia, yeah, they're axes as well, so they're technically an axe unit, but it's done as a sword unit, which really confuses me. But yeah, we have mainly axes, it seems, for Mordania instead of like swords. So yeah, but they're very, very cool, those guys there. And then I think this might be a mace unit, yeah, with the Wardens of the Blood Raven. So yeah, really, hitting hard with this Raven and Crow theme going on. They look very cool as well. Again, the detail, like, you know, with the embossed sort of like emblem there on the breastplate is glorious. I'm loving it, really am. These are Mordanian and Mace infantry, the keepers of the Veil here. They kind of give me elven vibes. I mean, we've just seen the elves, the high elves. These guys have got very similar sort of style. I thought maybe we would get some dark elves or something like that, but maybe not. But yeah, I guess these are your tier 4 stuff. And then we have a shock infantry here. These are tier 4 Raven Guard. Looking very similar, just look like a pretty much a typical medieval shock infantry unit. And I think that is all of the sort of the melee infantry, if you count like that. Then we have one archer, one range unit. They are, yeah, lacking in the range. They're going to be very aggressive as this faction. Mordanian militia archers. And yeah, that is it. There you go. That's all that's all of their archers. Not a lot to them. We're then on to the cav here. So we have black guards. Very cool looking unit there, that's for sure. This is a shock cav, and there's a melee cav. Again, I don't know if I like spears as a melee cav. I feel like you should have a sword. It makes it easier to differentiate a little bit on the battlefield for replays. But the black guard, very, very cool, and yeah, very non-colourful, hence their name. And then what do we have here? Tier 2 shock infantry is Mordanian noble cav. Surprise for a noble cav, they're tier 2, or maybe up them to tier 3. But they do look very cool. And yeah, again, showing off that glorious sort of emblem going on. It's one of my favourites, that is for sure. And what do we have here with Prince Valian Darkmire? Yeah, very much, it sounds a bit like Blackfire, but instead of black, it's dark, and then instead of fire, it's mire. Yeah, very, very cool. You know, again, don't think we have a unique general for him, but he looks very, very cool. And yeah, we need a unique model for a lot of these factions, I think. Apart from like the Iron Men, I think none of them have unique models. But yeah, cool faction nonetheless, and a cool mod. That is the Eldirath Total War mod for you. I hope you did enjoy checking that out. If you want to see more of it, let me know in the comments. And yeah, do go and check out the mod once it is up on the Steam Workshop. I'm pretty sure Eamon's told me it's going to be out fairly soon. And definitely do go out and check it out and support him because he's put a lot of love and effort into this mod. But until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next Total War video. Until then, check out these other ones, and bye for now.